Hi, Montana. Day 59 of the legislature. This morning in Business and Labor, we heard Senate Bill 309 that is aimed at promoting tourism in Indian country. We heard Senate Bill 298, which exempts certain religions from work comp coverage. I couldn't help but giggle to myself during the hearing at the thought of an employer having to ask an employee for their religion card showing that they belong to a religion that doesn't believe in insurance, and then laughing again at the idea of an employer having to show some kind of religion card to the state to prove that they religiously don't believe in insurance. There are religions that believe that, but writing a law that requires someone to check that and prove it was a funny part of my day. We also heard Senate Bill 325 to, in some ways, encourage employers who might be wary of hiring people who have been convicted of crimes to go ahead and give those people a chance and hire them and not be concerned that for some reason the employer will be held liable if that employee makes another mistake. It was an interesting bill. I'm excited about it. I think it's an important piece of reducing recidivism and healing those relationships so that we can help get people back to work. And then during executive action, where we vote on the bills we've already heard, the committee on party lines failed the bill that allows for a defensive driving discount for anyone who has taken the defensive driving course. So much for that one. On the floor today, we had 12 bills up, and more than half of them, 7, had more than 80% agreement. We passed bills relating to farm equipment and health savings account and property taxes and landlord-tenant emails and seeds to grow things. But guess how many jobs bills we passed? You got it, 0. And guess how much money we dedicated to infrastructure in Montana? 0. And guess how much money we spent on special education? 0. We did, however, pass a bill that allows politicians, elected representatives and senators, to access, look at, and study the private records, case records of Child and Family Services. And the bill that we spent the most time talking about today, and remember that every minute means your tax dollars, we spent the most of your tax dollars and the most of our time discussing and then passing a resolution, which is a letter to Congress and to the President urging approval of the Keystone Pipeline, which, as you know, and I know, and everyone in the House knows, has already been approved. So we spent your tax dollars on government telling government to do something that it's already done. And that's what took most of our time today. In education this afternoon, we passed, but not before we had defunded, a bill that would provide for suicide prevention programs in schools. So good news, bad news there. We couldn't get it passed unless we defunded it. Maybe someday someone will find some money to put into the program, but the law will exist if it gets through the Senate and to the governor to create suicide prevention programs in schools. And probably the most noteworthy today is that the Education Committee on party lines failed the preschool bill. One representative said that parents should stay home with their kids, and those kids are too young to learn anything anyway. tells me two things. It tells me he's completely out of touch with anyone who can't afford for one parent to stay home with the kids. That would be a really nice situation for all families to be in. Tells me also that he must have been absent for the first several years of his own kids' lives if he thinks that 4-year-olds don't learn anything. One representative said that we can't afford it, even though it's proven over and over again that it's a 7 to 1 in return on our investment, and that it's actually really good for the economy. It's the reason that a ton of Republican states have already passed it. And the same people who voted against it because we just can't afford it right now have passed over lots of chances to raise the money so that we could afford it right now. So we got some good stuff done today. We're getting as much done as we can with the majority that we've got. I'll keep letting you know what I'm voting on and what's happening at the Capitol. Thanks for paying attention. See you tomorrow.